The law of balance, finding the middle way. If gravity is the glue that holds the universe together, balance is the key that unlocks its secrets. Balance applies to our body, mind, and emotions, to all levels of our being. It reminds us that anything we do, we can overdo or underdo, and that if the pendulum of our lives or habits swings too far to one side, it will inevitably swing to the other. Be humble, for you are made of earth. Be noble, for you are made of stars. Serbian proverb. We're downwind, so he doesn't sense our presence yet, said the sage softly, directing my gaze to the edge of the pond where a white bird balanced perfectly on one leg. Can you balance like an egret? What? You mean like standing on one leg? I mean, feel what the egret feels inside. Can you remain as calm in the midst of your everyday life? Yes, maybe. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out how we got here. She repeated her question. You don't often feel such serenity, do you? Well, no, I suppose not. An honest answer and a good starting point, said the sage as she sat down on the sunny knoll overlooking the pond. Consider for a moment the importance of balance in the natural order of human life. We are creatures of moderation. We can swim as well as fish, run as fast as cheetahs, or lift as much as gorillas, but we have all these abilities in moderation, in balance. The sage pointed again toward the snowy egret, still poised at the water's edge. Every human body yearns for and thrives in a state of inner balance, inner peace. Can you feel this inside you now? The instant she placed her palm on my chest, I felt a profound sense of peace pervade my body and quiet my mind. You feel it, she whispered. Yes, I sighed with pleasure. This feeling of serenity provides a reference point. It will increase your awareness of and decrease your tolerance for the imbalances you normally experience. In what way? Well, you can understand how it does little good to advise tense people to relax if they don't know what relaxed feels like. But once they experience a state of deep relaxation, they have a reference point. They can more easily notice tension as it arises and can take steps to release it. And once you know what true balance feels like, you'll begin to notice what's out of balance in any area of your life. This serves as an automatic signal to you to return to that centered place within. You apply the law of balance by noticing your imbalances. As simple as that? She laughed. Very simple, but not always easy, because whatever physical or emotional state you're accustomed to feeling, even if it's tension or extreme imbalance, will feel normal to you. What many people call neurosis is actually an imbalance or exaggeration of a thought, impulse, or emotion we all feel at times. So shifting to a state of true balance may actually feel odd at first. Then how can I make the shift toward true balance? A fish broke the surface of the pond, sending ripples radiating along its mirrored surface as the sage responded. Go to that quiet place, that still pond inside you. Look, listen, pay attention to any ripples in your body or your life caused by doing too much or too little in areas of eating, drinking, exercise, work, or communication. As I consider this, another thought arose. With everything going on in the world today, spending all this energy looking inside and finding balance and serenity seems kind of self-centered. Smiling, the sage beckoned me to walk with her around the pond. Many people confuse self-centered with being selfish, she said. But once you find your own balance, you also find the inner peace and inner power to make a real difference in the world. She bent over and picked up a thin, straight branch several feet long and proceeded to balance it upon one finger. The branch stood perfectly upright at first. Then it began to move slightly to and fro, tilting forward, then backward. Desires and attachments pull you forward, she said. Fear, resistance, and avoidance pull you backward. Extremes of any kind, even taking rigid sides on an issue, can drive you out of that balanced place that values all sides of any issue. Do you understand? I think so, but I'm not sure, I answered. Good. That means you're ready to learn. As we proceeded along the trail, I noticed that the sage stepped so lightly over fallen branches I could barely hear her footfalls. Her own state of balance was exquisite. Like all the laws I intend to share with you, she continued, the law of balance is not just a philosophy but a way of life, with very practical applications. Seeing my blank look, she picked up a stone, handed it to me, and pointed to a scrub pine about 30 feet away. See that trunk over there? Let's see if you hit it with the stone. I took a breath, aimed, and threw. I missed by a few feet to the left. She handed me another stone. I threw again and got a little closer, but still to the left of center. She then handed me 4 more stones, looked into my eyes, and spoke slowly. It's important that you hit the tree trunk with one of these stones. I didn't understand why it was so important, but I knew she meant it. I felt my heartbeat quicken. Apply the law of balance, she reminded me. How? I've already told you that when you're out of balance, it feels normal to you. Because of this, you keep leaning toward the familiar side. So the fastest way to find center is to overcorrect, to deliberately practice the opposite of what you're used to doing. For example, if you speak too rapidly or too quietly for people to understand you, then you need to deliberately talk in a way that feels too slow or too loud. And since I just threw too far left, I said I need to aim too far right. Right? Right, she said. The thing is, I only have 4 tries remaining. I don't want to miss that tree to the left or to the right. I want to hit it. I'm sure you do, but once you've worked both sides, it's far easier to find center, whether you're aiming at trees or doing anything else. I understand, I said. Doing is understanding, she replied, pointing to the tree. Doubtful but willing to try, I deliberately aimed to the right. To my surprise, I missed to the left again. You see, said the sage, accustomed to what you usually do, to what feels normal, you undercorrected. That's why changing any habit feels difficult, and why many people learn so slowly. This time be daring. Make sure the next 2 throws are to the right of the tree. I made very sure. The first stone went a yard to the right. So did the second. My last try, I said nervously. The law of balance will help you, she said, and so will I. She led me toward the tree until I was only 5 feet away. No one said you had to make life so difficult, she added with a smile. If you notice you're too far away, go too close. Laughing, I hit the tree dead center. As we proceeded along the path around the pond, the sage spoke about another aspect of this law. Balance begins with the breath, she said. Taking in and letting go are the primal rhythms of life. Breathing in, you find inspiration. Breathing out, you find release. Inspiring and expiring, birth and death with every breath. Feel your breath right now, she said. Notice how, when the rhythms of your breathing are out of balance, your emotions are too. So when you feel anger, accept it fully and bring the breath to balance. When you feel sorrow, embrace it tenderly and bring the breath to balance. When you feel fear, honor it and breathe deeply to find your balance. As you exhale, you give. As you inhale, you receive. If you receive more than you give, you feel that imbalance as a need to reciprocate and complete the circle of relationships. If you give more than you receive, you feel depleted and eventually have nothing left to give. I've read about saints who gave much and received very little. So it may appear, but such beings experience abundant joy, love, and gratitude, she responded. The law of balance assures us that those who give freely in the spirit of love and generosity receive in abundance. As we hiked onward up a winding deer trail into the hills, I remembered something she had said when we first met. Earlier you said you needed my assistance, I said, with some kind of mission. This is your preparation, she reminded me. First, learn the egret's lesson. Find balance in your life and in all things. Honor this law and follow in the footsteps of the wise. Explore the range of human experience. But since extremes create stress, always return to the golden mean, the middle way. Let your actions and words come forth softly, like the changing seasons. From that inner state of balance, you'll find clarity and peace. As the sage's words faded into silence and we continued up into the hills, I turned for a last glance at the egret, still standing in calm repose at the water's edge.